Now, say I also wanted to put the members of the band in there as well. Well, we can do this by creating another class. We'll have a class which is lineup. And in that, of course, we need a constructor. And I'll just keep it very basic for now, just the information that we will be using. Yeah, we will use, of course, public properties here again. I'll just put, each of the, am I doing that? There we go. Public drummer. Public guitarist. Public keyboardist. That's what Pink Floyd is at this point in time. I won't get into vocalist because it's a shared duty. But with this constructor, I'll go ahead and make an array out of this, because we ultimately want to be actually using these. Array. Gosh, what am I doing? Oh god, I gotta edit this out. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I won't be getting into vocalists because, of course, that's a shared duty. But with this, I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to make an interface, and I'm going to call it musician. And instead of having strings here, I'm actually going to make these each musicians. And an interface is very similar to a class, except you're not using it to make something. You're just saying that, hey, if it has, if it has an artist and a title and a year, then it's considered an album. So we're going to make a musician that has a name, which that will be a string, and we're also going to have a role, which could be a string, bassist, drummer, guitarist, keyboardist. But why? Because they'd be the same thing. I'm going to actually make another thing. Which could be a string. But I'm going to use this opportunity to show another concept, and that is, I'm going to make something called role. And of course right now that's undefined, but I'm going to make an enum, which is an enumeration. is it? Um, and I'm going to make a new thing, which is enum. And this enum is going to be role. And an enum is sort of like everything we've worked with before, but it's also kind of like an array. Each of these are just things we put in, but we don't have to, we're not using really types here. We're just putting in different things. And as you can see, it's showing that as if it was an array. This is the 0th entry, the first index, the second index, and the third. As you can see, like an array, it's got an index. So it's sort of like a list of things that just the value is going to be whatever index it is. And this is probably not the most efficient way to doing what I'm doing, but it will get the point across that you can use enums and interfaces and classes. And here's how I'm going to use it. I'm going to use a line up here. I'm going to put in my constructor for an album, a public property of lineup of type lineup. So on top of being part of the constructor, it will have to be something of this class. And we'll just go ahead and put in here, I'll go ahead and put another line. Hit features. And basically, so now I'm going to have to start making some musicians, but we can't make a new musician because it's an interface, not a class. It does not work the same way. Musicians are basically just, it would qualify as a musician for having this name and this role. If something is of type musician, it would have a name and a role, but we can't make something that is a musician. We have to make something that is a class. So we're going to let lineup equal new album. Nope. Equal new lineup. We're not going to start out with strings. We actually have to put, for this, we have to put the key as well. So we'll put name errors, because as we can see, we're working with the bassist right here, and role is going to be 0 for bassist. That's the 0th index. Fast forward. And now this is squigglied out, and that's because we added our lineup to an albums constructor. So now we have a lineup, and of course we have to compile it again. And you can see that this is squigglied out. That's because we have an extra argument we added, or an extra and you can see that this is squigglied out, and that's because we added lineup to our constructor. So I'm going to put in lineup there because it is a lineup. So it is compatible type-wise. And now let's go ahead and put another statement in here. Inside of that still, I'm going to say it features. I'm going to actually just put the lineup there. There are a lot of other cool things we can do with it, but this is very basic for now. That's okay. Lineup dot, and a lineup, we're referring to this class. So we're going to do dot bassist, which is musician. And a musician's going to have a name. And for now, I'll just put that. Etc. Alright, so now that I have that complete sentence written, I'm going to run my compiler again. Oh, shoot. I did not do that right. Oh. Never mind, I did. It just saved it, but I put the shortcut in wrong. Thought I had some new changes. There we go. So that obviously works correctly. And that's just a few ways you can use TypeScript. Using some classes and an interface and an enum. Of course, there are cooler ways to use these things, but that's the basics. And it's pretty cool working with it. So yeah, see you in another video.